Hello and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I'm your host and guide, Zollin Ironshield. And today, I want to do a video on this little switching mechanic that a lot of people don't know is in LOTRO, and it's another good way to do it. Now, granted, I know a lot of you know you can move around tabs if you go into settings and add more tabs. And what I mean by that is, let me go away for a second. See these tabs right here? These extra tabs and icons I have? Well, of course, I have a whole video on how you could do these and move these around and stuff. We're not going to go over that today. We're going to go over something else. This little button down here, and there's a command, I'm trying to remember what it is. I think you could tab command it, but you can click these little arrows and it will actually rotate through the tabs. And now I'd like to point out that it also will do, all right, let me just switch to this real quick. All right, so I've blown up all of my stuff here. It's going to be a little blurry at this level of blown up on a big 2K monitor. But you got to be able to see it. I also spread these out so you can see the changes. When I click the arrow, if you notice, and look, I'm going to do this tab effect here so you can kind of see. I'll bring up my skills here. But you bring up your skills, it'll show the, there we go. So I'm going to leave this skill panel open for a moment. If you notice, see all these things, these tabs? As I shuffle through this thing, there's three different things. There's one that's a sword symbol. Oh my goodness, words. Symbol. And then also you can go over into a shield, okay? It actually adjusts all your stuff. Now, there's something that I really don't want you to get confused on, so I'm going to say it right at the beginning of the video. But when you go into your trait tree panel, you know how you have these tabs where you can switch between different stances? Watch what happens when I do this. That also will switch what your generic things are on those tabs, okay? Which means it's actually different. There's technically 6 tabs. Okay, so before you go, whoa, what do you mean? Whoa, Zollin, I don't understand what you're saying. Okay, so this button down here allows you to go through the sword and the shield mode, right? Which are two totally different memorized things for these 3 bars and that lower bar, okay? But you can also go to this one, and what is this one, you might ask? This is for your war mount. That's why it's a horse, that's why you get the color change at the bottom. So don't worry about that one, that's your war mount. You can set this one up with your war mount, with certain skills or emotes for your war mount or whatever, right? You could do that, but don't really worry about that one. Though, when you switch between, if you'll notice, this one doesn't actually change, okay? This one kind of stayed the same for war mounts. It's kind of its own. So technically there's like 5. But when it comes to the sword and this one, they did change. And what do I mean by they changed? I'm going to show you the example real quick one more time here, and then you'll kind of understand how to do yourself. I'm going to put this cosmetic weapon here, okay? So it's on the shield one. And when I go to the sword one, I'm going to put on, not the horse one, this thing here in the middle, all right? So you can see the difference of change, okay? So now I can go between these two, right? They should be there, but watch what happens when I change to my other trait tree. That goes away. Did you notice that? But that one's still the same. So now you're a little bit like, wait a second, what? So let's test this one more time. All right. So now you can see they're both there. And now let's go ahead and just try this. I'm going to put this one here, and then let's just switch this back and see if this really is the case for this one. And I may have been incorrect with switching it with the trait thing. But it definitely switches your skills, because the trait things remember where your skills are, okay? So watch. See, it moved where it was. It moved that one where it was. But that one didn't move. That one was fine. So, yeah. That's why it's a little bit confusing, but I wanted to teach you guys kind of how to use it, okay? So now, is there a command to actually get through to these? I am not sure. Let me look for you right now. Yes, there is. Haha. All right, let me show you real quick how to do it. It's not automatically mapped. All right, so you need to go into your options, or this little gear down here, and go in options, okay? There, or Control O you can do. It'll bring up options, and then you need to go down to key mapping. You need to go just slightly down, just a tiny bit right at the beginning, and it says in there quick slots, and there's quick slot page up, quick slot page down. You don't have to keybind both. You can if you want to, but what you can do is once you keybind it once, watch this, what I do. I'm going to click, I keybind it to my period, which I'm not going to keep there, but see how it's rotating through the 3? It's just going up. Right, you're scrolling through. Now you can scroll it where you can just go back and forth, but I mean, I just recommend just do one and just tap, just tap through, right? So again, it really doesn't matter too much with that. But now if I go this one again, this one does for some reason isn't memorizing the same one. Not really the end of the world. So it doesn't, so this basically, all the traits does when it flips between is it remembers what you have locked, where your traits are on these 3 pages. Okay, so I would like to correct what I said at the beginning. I said they were like, oh, there's like 6 because of the traits. There's not. I'm gonna confuse you guys in that. I apologize for that one. Basically, the trait thing only remembers where you put your skills, but this cool thing is really handy because you have a whole nother set of things here, right? So basically, you have a whole nother memory set. So instead of just having the 2 bars, okay, one more thing I have to show you. All right. You go to quick slots on your options. There is technically a couple bars here. All right. So there is bar action 1. All right. And then there's bar action 1. This one. And then there's 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Okay. So when you flip between this thing, it only really messes with up to 3. And your base bar, okay? So you have your base bar and the other ones, okay? So that's what you kind of have to, like, that's pretty much it with that. It's about that simple. But that's pretty much what you got to do, okay? So I'm trying to think how to word this for you guys so I don't confuse you too much. So what you'd want to do, you're like, so Zollin, why would I want to just even have this option to rotate through the sword symbol down here and the shield symbol? Well, it really comes down to if you want to just have like everything set up for like a different, like a tank setup, another thing. When they implemented the new trait tree, I think this became more irrelevant because when you switch, it remembers how you have your skills laid out for your other trait tree. But before, you kind of just had to have all your skills laid out, like all of them, right, on the thing. So, but if you're someone who just wants to have, let's say, a bunch of cosmetic pets. Let me show you it. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Okay, so let me show you all my cosmetic pets. Again, this is one. This guide video is a little bit more flying off. So let me just put it. Look, so you could have all your cosmetic pets on the defense bar, right? So let's just say I'm just going to load a bunch of these up. That just for example. Okay, I'm just going to put a bunch like that. All right, just a bunch of cosmetic pets, right? Or maybe different other things, items you want to have or something. And then I'm going to switch back with my button here to go back to my defense thing. So now I can just switch between this one and my tank one, and my trait panel remembers which one. But if I switch back to my other one, oh look, there's the pets, right? So it just gives you more, or maybe you want to put your milestone skills. Now, granted, you can see here, I have all of my maps and milestone skills on number 4 and 5, which do not change when you go through this. Do you see how it's not changing? Got it? Good? All right. So the trick to this is, again, how you map it. I already showed you in the settings. It's the up and down thing. This one is pretty much, you should ignore that one just for the war mount, okay? But the sword just depends on which one you want to use, sword or shield for whatever. You could do it one for tank and that, but you do have to remember that when you switch your trait tree panel, it's going to switch things. So what I'm trying to warn you with that is, don't get all your skills and bring all of your, I'm sorry, there's so much on the screen right now, I know. Don't bring all your skills onto the defense one and like, you know, maybe like do these damage ones, hammer down, right? Do that one on the defense one and then be like, oh, you know, sweet, now I'm going to spec into my defense one. Well, what's going to happen when you set up one side in the defense one, right? If I do that, it's going to remove my defense skills, right? So make sure you think about which one you do in the trait tree, because look, if I switch this one now, where'd my skill go, right? But if I switch back, it would pop back, but now I'm in the defense trait tree. So you need to think about that. Which one of these, you need to put your defense ones on one of them and your other ones on the other. Don't mix them up because they're going to be removed when you switch your trait tree, because it remembers which skills you have at that time and where you set them on these two things. So really, to finish up, it comes down to that you have 1, 2, 3, 4 to use, okay? The trait tree panel switches between skills, right, that you already have. And then you have another 1, 2, 3, 4 for either doubling up on things, defense, or maps, or whatever, okay? And they will not be affected if they're a map skill or a cosmetic skill. They will be affected if you're switching between trade trees. Okay? For that one. That's what you got to remember. Hopefully that helps. And again, 4 and 5 do not get affected by this changing thing down here. I don't know why that is, but usually these are not in the game. If you want to put these on, you go to quick slots and you say always show quick slots, right? And Alt, not backspace, Alt backslash, I believe it is. Alt backslash is what brings up this control to move stuff on the screen. All right? Hopefully that helped you out, guys. I just thought that was a fun little quick thing to kind of show you guys. And again, if you want to increase, if you have a really big screen and you're trying to increase the size of things, you can go to UI settings and you can bring down. I tend to like 1.3 for my 2K monitor. It fits very nicely. And then I usually just kind of hide these skill bars back here. Whoop. All right, there it is. Yep, and then you can also lock these skill bars in quick slots. You can go to dock bar and they will lock into where they are. But I usually like to have them slightly bigger because you can actually adjust their sizes with UI. So I like to just kind of put them in their own little spots there because it looks nice and clean. That's what I usually do. Ta-da! All right. Well, have a great and wonderful day in Middle-earth. Hopefully that helped you out with knowing how to use the little sword and shield and war mount switcher there. Sorry for the little bit of confusion at the beginning. It was only a second, though. But it's not really a big, huge subject. And if you watch the 10-minute video, I really appreciate it a lot. So, not going to remake the video just for that. Have a great day. See you all the next episodes of Voice of the Rings. Mind you, by the way, usually if I make any mistakes in a video, I usually just scrap it and make a new one, which is a lot of work. But for this little subject, it isn't the end of the world. All right. Have a great day in Middle-earth. And besides, I instantly corrected it within like 30 seconds. So, subscribe button's there. Have a good one, my friends. Stay happy. Thanks to my Patreons. And if you like Lord of the Rings content or LOTRO, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one, my friends.